politics Judge Garland would bring to the Supreme Court?
Well, he's from Skokie. It's a great place. You know, the way I've thought about diversity is not to think about any single seat as, oh, I've got to fill this slot with this demographic, but rather, if I've got a broad set of nominees to make, and this is true across the board, how do I make sure that I'm intentional throughout that process so that the talent of every American is, and every potential candidate gets a fair look. And then I have confidence that if I stick to that, if I do that, if I make sure that I'm broadening the search, broadening the pool, looking at a bunch of folks, even if they're not going through the conventional paths, that I'll end up, the process will result in diversity. And that, in fact, is what's happened. I am, you know, not to brag, but I have transformed the federal courts from a diversity standpoint with a record that's been unmatched. We've got more. We've got more African Americans on the circuit courts than we ever had before. I've appointed more African American women to the federal courts than any other president before. I've appointed more Latinos than any president before. I've appointed more Native Americans, more Asian Americans, more LGBT judges than ever before. But at no point did I say, oh, you know what, you know, I need a black lesbian, you know, from Skokie. In that slot, can you find me one? You know, I mean, that's just not how I've approached it. It turns out that if the process is fair and you are saying that it's important that our courts are reflective of a changing society, you'll end up with a really good cross-section of people who are excellent. And that's who we've been able to appoint. And so when I look at Merrick Garland, that was the person that, you know, the difference between the Supreme Court is just a handful of seats come up at any given time now. I appointed a Latino woman and another woman right before that. So, you know, yeah, he's a white guy, but he's a really outstanding jurist. Sorry. You know, I think that's important. But this speaks to the broader debate about diversity that I think is important and obviously churns up in college campuses a lot. The question is, have you set up a process and are you intentional about giving everybody a shot? And are you thinking about roadblocks to why we're not seeing a more diverse population? And when you start asking those questions, in whatever institution, I mean, I just met with the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and the commanders. It was